It's Christmas Eve and I'm going to the diner. Real fun stuff. Home cooked meals are never very good. I can tell you that. Well, that's not entirely true. And it wasn't even a home cooked meal. It was just... what? Picked up from a deli. Delis suck. Thought this was common knowledge, but I guess not. My windshields are all frosted. I can't see a goddamn thing. It sucks, man. Well, the one good thing about this is that nobody's going to be on the road. And if they are, it'll be a fascinating thing to experience. See just how many people are on the road these days. Or on this day in particular. It's very dark in here, I know. I'm so sorry. Does that help? A little bit? I don't know. It's dark no matter what, isn't it? Sure. Oh well. It's really about my voice, not my, not the scenery. There's a lot of cars here. Everybody's having their Christmas parties. Tradition, culture. Love it. I'm not taking part though. On one hand, that's probably extremely unfortunate. On the other, is it ideologically consistent? I don't know. I don't even have a coherent ideology, honestly. Think I'd risk having a coherent belief about anything? You nutters. Well, you know, today has just not been very good, you know? I got robbed by a gas station attendant. That was fun. It's not my fault he messed up the fucking numbers. I asked for $20. $20. And what does he give me? He gives me $30. And then he tries to stop me. Oh well. So this guy's going. This guy's going. Okay. It is a wild world, I'll tell you that much. Oh no, not again. Yeah. People put decorations up in Fairfield. See that? Blue lights. Really nice. I should go live in an apartment. Well, you know, speaking of terrible things, today is really supposed to be my last day on Earth, but you know what? I might get a stay of execution for one day at least. Not even a day, it's more of an hour, a couple hours. Grades aren't out yet, so don't have to see that C+, so I don't have to see that C+ anytime soon. Well, that's not true either. It's probably going to be released before 12 a.m. Right now it's, what, 8:40? So, you know, I guess this is really the Last Supper, right here, at the Suffolk Diner. Worse things have happened. I guess this is a fitting end. I never got to finish reading Aristotle, though. Speaking of which, you know, I hear this thing a lot. Where, you know, people try to justify the existence or the continued existence of philosophy by invoking its past relationship with science. By saying that, you know, a couple hundred years ago, Newton, philosophy and science were under one one core natural philosophical project, natural philosophy, and then it's split with rise of the scientific method, stable epistemology, all that good stuff. I think that's kind of bogus, honestly. First of all, that is not a good defense for philosophy. Trying to invoke the past, you should be, commenting on its importance in the present. Even metaphysics. Metaphysics is very important. I mean, I guess it depends on how you define important. See, Aristotle has something to say about this. The better life is the superfluous one, I mean, mere life, as in getting by, putting food on the table, all that stuff. Things that aren't really concerned with more noble or virtuous affairs, if that's what one might call philosophy. It's a necessity. It's necessary. It's not better, but it's necessary. And kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I'm not trying to defend philosophy here. I'm just trying to comment on the notion of natural philosophy. It's kind of fallen out of favor. More in favor of, on the one hand, modern physics, and on the other hand, analytic and continental philosophy, particularly analytic metaphysics. But I think there is room for a kind of, there is an area at the intersection of physics and metaphysics where there is room for kind of natural philosophy. It's not the philosophy of science so much as it might be the philosophy of physics. Like take Bell's theorem, Bell inequalities, the violation of which force you to choose between two different metaphysical pictures. Either the world is locally realistic or it's not. And experiments seem to decide in favor of the latter. So you have this kind of situation where you have modern physics moving more towards natural philosophy, where we now have to seriously consider the idea that action at a distance is possible, or at least exists, or that, a certain weak formulation of realism does not actually exist. I've never been really clear on how that works. At least the realism part of Bell's theorem. My understanding of it is that it's it's analogous to hidden variables, but then some philosophers of physics would go on to state that non-locality, as in action at a distance, is a required feature, a necessary feature of any quantum theory, whether it be hidden variables or not. I'm very unclear on what counterfactual definiteness actually means. And I would bet some other physicists are too. I'm no physicist. I'm actually pretty bad at math. That's why I have a C in statistics, which isn't really math, I guess, but... And hey, it was honors statistics, alright? I challenged myself. At least I passed. But I could have gotten a B. My life sucks. Well, hopefully people don't crash into me when I turn right. You never know. You never know what's gonna happen to you. Anyway, my point is that there is room for natural philosophy, the kind that was, promoted by Aristotelian inquiries into the nature of reality. I guess that's where you would start. It's not quite metaphysics, but it does raise metaphysical issues. I mean, like the thing, action at a distance, there's no real way of choosing. I mean, look, Bell's inequality, you may be able to prove that the world is not locally realistic, but you still have to choose between locality and realism. And right now we have no test. We have no way to devise an experiment that can choose between them. So now it comes to what? Conceptual analysis? What's more palatable? I mean, these are metaphysical concepts. Locality, realism, freedom, right? There's super deterministic interpretations. So, yeah. There is some kind of natural philosophy that I think is possible, and I think physics is moving in that direction. I think it is moving more towards natural philosophy than, from a purely empirical investigation. Possibly. Difficult to decide, really. I don't know. That's just my thought on the matter. But there's plenty more reading to do, so perhaps that will mature in time. Oh, I hate this fucking thing. There's nobody here. Oh, of course not. It's Christmas Eve. Is this guy gonna take my parking spot? No. That's where my forebears used to engage in their career. What a shame. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna eat now. That's that.